time, and without a manas there would also be no self-attachment. There is no other place where, for an entire lifetime, beings still in bondage are lacking in self-attachment. If they had no self-attachment, their existence would resemble nirvana, not what sages and virtuous people alike disparage and loathe. The Sarvastivadins claim that there is thought at the beginning and end of the lives of the unconscious celestials, and that therefore there is no such error. We reply, for a long time during the interval of their existences, there is none, and therefore there is an error. They reply, it exists in the past and future, so there is no error. We reply that a past and future attachment is neither present nor eternal, and that since it does not exist, the error remains. There can be no acquisition because there is nothing to be acquired. Replying to the Mahasamgikas, we have already disproved unassociated dharmas as a basis for self-attachment. In reply to the suggestion that seeds serve as the basis for attachment, since, in their opinion, there is no such thing as a store consciousness, perfuming cannot take place either, and we have refuted the notion that other dharmas can take perfuming. Therefore there must be a separate, defiled manas. The attachment to a self occurs perpetually among the unconscious celestials because of its persistence, which is why that state is disparaged and loathed by sages and the virtuous.
20. Absence of self-attachment. A scripture says when the minds of sentient beings are good, defiled, or indeterminate, they are perpetually caught up in self-attachment. If this, seventh, consciousness did not exist, neither would that, attachment. When the minds of sentient beings are of these, above, three natures, they always become attached to an inner self, no matter what kinds of external acts they perform. As a result of this attachment to a self, such acts as giving, dana, that arise in the six consciousnesses are unable to be free from the image of a self. Therefore the Yogacarabhiimi, Sastra, says that defiled manas is the support of the first six consciousnesses, and until it ends, the seeing part cannot be freed from bondage to the seen part. Once manas ceases, the seeing part is liberated from bondage to the seen part.
Bondage to the seen part means the inability to comprehend thoroughly that images of objects are like illusions, etc. Consequently, the seeing part is bound by the seen part, and this is called bondage to the seen part. For this reason, a verse says, such a defiled manas is the support of consciousness, until this manas ceases, the bonds of consciousness are never severed.
Also, when a mind is good, undefiled, and indeterminate, it will not be contaminated if there is no self-attachment, because the passions of the first six consciousnesses as part of a personal series cannot exist simultaneously with a mind that is good, etc., because the truth is that this good mind cannot be bound by past or future conditions, which really are non-existent. Also, good mind is not soiled by the passions of another, nor does it become pure as a result of someone else's liberation. Nor can it be said that there exist separate propensities in the form of dharmas unassociated with mind that appear in a series and that good minds, etc., become soiled as a result of them. These do not really exist, as we have already amply demonstrated. Nor can it be said that good, etc., become soiled because they are born of soiled seeds, because there is no reason for these seeds to become soiled. Mind that is good, etc., does not become soiled because of soiled seeds, because it is not clear how an unsoiled mind becomes soiled.
Even though acts such as giving, etc., are attracted by passions, the acts do not occur simultaneously with the passions, and therefore these passions are not the real cause of impurity, because the word impure indicates simultaneity of soiling and being soiled. Also, indeterminate acts are not attracted by the passions, so how can they become soiled? All impurities result from various passions of one's own, and not from another's, from actually present passions, and not from seeds, and from passions that are born simultaneously with mind, and that perish simultaneously with it, and they are born in the reciprocal promotion. This perfuming creates the seeds of soiled dharmas, and later those dharmas that appear will become soiled. This being so with ordinary beings, so also with learners. Even though the soiled manas of post-learners is not accompanied by active soiling itself, it becomes soiled by means of soiled seeds from previous times, so there is no violation of reason.
Due to the perpetual attachment to a self by the manas, dharmas that are good, bad, etc., are made soiled. If this mind did not exist, that soiling process would not exist either. Therefore we know that there must be a separate seventh consciousness. There are a great many proofs for the existence of this consciousness. Here, 6 from the Mahayana Samgraha have been taken up briefly. The wise should follow them, trust them, and study them. Some scriptures speak of only 6 consciousnesses, but you should realize that this is an expedient for those unprepared for the whole explanation. Another explanation is that these texts speak of 6 in accordance with the 6 organs that act as the supports of the 6 consciousnesses, but there are in fact 8 separate kinds of consciousness.